Hey y'all, happy Monday to you. What sky's blue, isn't it? Pretty here in East Texas. Been a long time since I've seen this place in almost her full glory in the spring. And boy, it's pretty. We finished up the watermelons this morning right after the rain broke. Sure was blessed to see that. I remember waking up when the little storm rolled through early this morning. And I'll be honest, I woke up, heard the rain, smiled, and said, "Thank you, Lord." It was just enough. I think we got almost a quarter inch between a couple of passing showers, but wet the ground good, and I was chomping at the bits to finish putting in these melons and got it done. So they're all in the ground with a good little dose of good water. And I think we've got all sweets on one end. I did some black diamonds and some jubilees. And we'll just have to see how that works out. It's been a pretty good day here on the place. Mid-70s. Oh, I got to be careful. Jordan got on to me this morning. I'm out here in this back pasture. These dewberries are coming on thick. Now, they'll make about May. And I was tromping around. He said, "Dad, don't you step on them white flowers, them berries." So maybe he won't catch me back here walking on the dewberries. I tried to plant my garden plots in the areas that didn't have so many, but it's thick out here. I don't know if y'all know what that is. I learned that from my buddy last year. I believe it was Bruce that told me. I think it was Bruce, him or Phil. I think it was Bruce. Those are all little elderberry plants coming on. We harvested some berries last year. I have yet to make my tonic, but I got plenty of elderberries in there ready to go. But maybe I needed that here a while back when I got sick. Then I was too sick to make it. Guess I should have planned ahead a little bit, huh? Well, the sun came out and heated up the old place, and I had my experience with gardening up to date, other than just being close to it, living in the city and metro areas. It was confined to maybe a couple of tomato plants and a lot of flowers, if you would, and that kind of gardening. So I had a few little beautification techniques. My sister's gonna be proud of my shabby chicness I got on this afternoon. I'll show y'all in a minute. But I'm in forever amazement at this old place and how, maybe it's just the way I see it, I don't know. But it was life interrupted when my mom passed, even though she'd been sick for a little while. And so it's a place full of just odds and ends and implements and tools and coffee cans. Y'all know, if y'all got grandparents, that a lifetime of accumulation just of stuff, and it sits there idle until it's needed. And it wasn't really cleaned up, and I'm thankful for it. I've come across stuff all the time, and I may pass it for months, and then that day I need, I'm like, you know what, I saw that out yonder, and I'll go find it. Well, this is arguably, probably, I'm not gonna mess around with it much longer in the year. I'm gonna get what I need before it gets too hot, because I would argue that this old pile of concrete, and I'll explain to you why I'm using it here in a minute, is probably the snakiest place on this old place. Y'all look, tell me there ain't some copperheads and the little timber rattlers and all sitting in that one. I was going through it very carefully this afternoon, but I've got to get some more of it. What it is, I finally figured it out. I thought I didn't know where it come from because it wasn't here when I was growing up, but when my cousin ran the chicken operation in the place where I've got the hens now, the older structure there was an old calf barn back in the early or late 50s, early 60s, and it had a slab in it, but it was concrete. But back in the day, a little bit different concrete, obviously. But I guess when he came in and put that pullet operation in, they broke all that concrete slab up and put it out here in the pasture. Well, now it's making perfect little jagged slabs for my little flower gardens around the place. Why not, huh? It's too wet to take the truck out here and get it. So I'll tell you, that little red wagon Melinda sent me has sure been a lifesaver. I drug it up here and filled it up with rocks. Didn't realize how many I had till I got moving. Thank goodness it was downhill. But doing a little piddling, as I say a lot. Old junk trailer there, we got to get that hauled off. It comes together slowly and surely. I was out there working on them watermelons the other day. I noticed, you know, today's Monday. Friday seems like a long way away for a lot of you. And we focus on it. We get down the dumps and the clock just starts going slower and slower. It's kind of how it was out there in that watermelon patch, without having to hand rake each of those rows, you know, the hills, getting them set. And wasn't but 48 of them, but man, it seemed like it's taking me forever. And I stopped focusing on number 48 and started worrying about the one I was on. And before you know it, I was on number 48. So it taught me another lesson. I've learned it, had to learn it many, many times. That don't always look at the end, just focus on what you got to go through right now. Maybe that even happens in good times and bad times. You're going through some struggles or sickness or drama, hurt. Just get through minute by minute. It'll pass, and you'll be on the other side of it. Me and Jordan's already gathered the eggs. I believe we had 20 or 21 today, so they did good. My little white silky rooster is still here. Cooped him up last night. He's loving out there in that privet thicket. He hadn't really acclimated to these hens just yet, but he'll come around. But the other old rooster with no name still is getting his job done. So we'll try to do our own hatching here before too long. Well, let me show y'all what I've done. So I had a bunch of different flower seeds. Some of them I'm going to use in the garden as pest control. Marigolds for the peas, and got all them sprouting coming on up with my peppers. Have to set them out for long. But this old outhouse has been sitting here for a long time. The door was pretty much closed shut with limbs and dirt and all that. And I had me some sunflowers, and I was looking for a spot on this place that was in full sun all day. If you'd asked me, sight unseen, I said, man, the whole place is hot. But it ain't. Some of it has full sun all day and get some shade on others. But, and then, before I show it to you, so me and Jordan was out here cutting and digging around that old dirt, and tilling up the old stuff and breaking it up, put a little chicken litter in it, and got the front door to open. I've got some dirt work to do yet, and we'll use that concrete fragments out there to make a little pathway there. It's obviously not in use. Those old toilets are filled in, thank goodness. But I did notice something about it. There's a lock on the door, but it's on the outside. That sounds like a prank in the making right there. So let me show you here. Hang on. So there's the old two-holer outhouse. It's we didn't do much on the inside of it. It's just two old concrete urns, two-seater, with stovepipe and ventilation. But I wish you look at this door. Uh-oh, a little more dirt work to do. It's got a lock on the outside and not the inside. I'll be forever studying that. Here's what we found a couple old window panes in there. I don't know where they came from. I hung one on the outside and put my concrete slabs down there. We've got about 8 sunflowers, some big mammoth ones planted. That's about the only shade it's got all day. And I guess here in about a week or two, we'll see some plants coming up, Lord willing, and get some pretty sunflowers. That's a pretty view across the pasture there. So maybe my sister would be proud that I channeled my shabby chicness. I call it just cleaning up junk, hanging it up out of the way. I guess they got a word for everything. Uh-oh, there's another white flower I stepped on. Hope Jordan didn't see that. It was an onion, son. It wasn't a dewberry, I don't think. It won't be one now. But here, y'all look at it. That's gonna look pretty sharp, isn't it? And then Memo, always, I remember, had morning glories along that cyclone fence. And they were thick. Y'all know how them things will just take over, them purple morning glories. Well, I hadn't planted any over there yet. This old chicken house, it's not in use anymore, just an old junk barn. I still got to go through. There's a lot of glass and stuff in there to clean out, and it's rotten. It's not going to be good structurally. But thought we'd spruce it up a little bit, so I still put my rocks around it. Did a little flower bed here, and I've got some purple morning glories planted, and my intention is to let them climb on the outside here and cover that up. That ought to be pretty. So it's too wet to plow up my rows today, so I had to get busy doing some other stuff. I expect we'll see that corn popping on through about Wednesday. It's already trying to poke out of the ground. And potatoes love that rain this morning. I was glad to see it. Hope y'all had a decent Monday and it didn't get the blues too bad. But it'll come and it'll pass. We'll make it. Look, well, here's my on the old Texas gauge there. That was just enough. I'm not gonna complain. So, didn't even make it up to Corpus, but again, I'm not complaining. It was perfect. Soaked it all the way down. Hope y'all got some rain and not too much wind, and those of you that needed it got it, and those that didn't get none. Still praying for our folks up in the Midwest there and to the east getting all those floods. That's bad business. A lot of family farms ruined up there, I can't imagine. And they do it for a livelihood. So y'all keep those folks in your prayers, because it goes past catastrophe when you lose your livelihood. And like old buddy in California told me the other day, ain't a whole lot of money in farming. He had a buddy that made $1 million at it, but he'd started with $2 million. So we laugh and joke about it, but it's a hard business. Got to have it to eat, don't we? So y'all pray for those on that commercial end that are suffering their losses this spring. Well, I guess that's about a circle for the pasture this evening. Oh, I did throw some sunflowers out there by the road. I don't think they'll make. I'm not going to get out there and till it, but right there at the other end of the chicken house, we'll see what happens. Let me do a quick roll call. Y'all sound off where you at. Man, look at that blue sky. That is something else. Pretty. We'll check off everybody, and then we'll call it a night. I think Jordan had intention to make good on that steak dinner we were supposed to have the other evening when he got off work so late. I don't know what he's doing. He's been digging around in that stump all day. Just seeing if he can come up on a little old mason jar. I think it just about whooped him. He's taken about 3 breaks, and I don't see him nowhere over there now. And it's kind of quiet. That's a luck shoot right there. But maybe he'll come across something. He'd be happy to find an old hoe handle or something like that, or hoe head or something like that down there. He's pretty easy to please. There's Mike up in rainy Northern California. How you doing, Mike? Happy Monday to you. Emily's in Tennessee. How are you, ma'am? Miss Carolyn Durrell. It is a beautiful day. There's Miss Cheryl Swain. Pretty and green here, yes, ma'am, and I'm blessed to see it, I'll tell you. I got to get after this yard, getting after it. I'm going to have to mow it. I have to stop gardening for a minute and do a little beautification on the front yard. People going to think it's deserted again or something. I tell you what I'm going with. There's a lot of little wildflowers out there, so we'll just go with that excuse. We're wildflower preservation area. I don't think my dad's going to go for that, so I better mow it. Just saying. There's Joanne Smith. How are you? Yes, ma'am, you did tell me about that. Brenda's up in Arkansas. It is ready for planting. There's Deborah. And Patrice, how are you, ma'am? Let's see. There's Miss Misty Johnson. How are you? Hope you're well. And my good friend Ladina up in Grand Prairie. Good to see you on. Trying to go through these quickly. Brenda in Beckville. Looking like it did back when I'd go. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Pawpaw John was her second husband, for those that didn't know. He was my step-granddad, but he's the only one I ever knew. Good man. Built me a desk that I studied. I don't know how well I studied, but got through school with it. It's still in that middle bedroom. I brought it back with me. Had it all these years. And it was made in that old fallen down shop out there. Pretty good treasure. Good man. There's Daryl. How are you? Checking in from Iowa. Ron's in Fairmount, Texas. Allie says, smelling like flowers. Well, right now I'm burning some of them old plastic, dry rotted chicken crates, and it sure don't smell like flowers right now. And I'm downwind at that. Anyway, Pat, looks good for an outhouse. Shoot, that'll rival most bathrooms I've seen at some of these convenience stores. I'll tell you right now. I'll go out there for some of them. Just saying. There's Ladina again. Yeah, being a cozy outhouse. That's a good one. Helen says the lock is on the outside to keep critters out when it's not in use. Hate find a surprise when you go there. Well, okay, that's kind of what I was thinking it might be for. But me knowing my family, I imagine there was a lot of folks got locked up in that outhouse. between Buddy and Nolan and Nathan and them jokers. I bet you didn't get caught out there with one of them around, because you'd be in there a while hollering. That's all right. No rain with Patrice down in Central Texas. I hope some will come down that way pretty quick. Let's see. Growing sideburns. Well, no, I just hadn't got the razor after old fella in church. Farmer friend giving me some advice. He come up to me and said, "Son, you need me to buy you a razor?" So I don't know. I guess I better go to the dollar store and get me a good razor, huh? I got one of them ones that, you know, the changeable blades, but they're kind of worn out. And, whew, I'd rather go bearded or semi-bearded and try to cut through with that old thing. So I need to go down there and break down and buy me another razor, I guess. There's Trudy, plenty of rain in Kentucky. Stacy's in Cedar Park. Donna's in Pensacola. Debbie, how are you? It is a beautiful day. Jennifer Fuller is up in Custer, South Dakota. Walter down in Belleville. I know where that's at. Well, that's all right, Brenda. Thank you for that. And there's Mr. David. How are you, sir? Miss y'all. That was nice walking around out here and picking up eggs and kicking dirt, I guess. I bet it don't smell as bad up there after you go. I was in the middle of harvesting the chicken fertilizer, put it nicely, on their last visit, and boy, you could smell this whole place 10 miles away, I'm afraid. There's my good friend Donna. Donna Wills, wild man. Love you much. Need to come see me soon. I know Kimberly's coming up this weekend. She's wanting to know what I have to, if I've got any work for her to do. Okay. No, I'll take it easy on her. Oh, I got my weather vane up. I'm not going to tell you how I got up there, because Dad may watch this and he'd get on me. But I got it up on top of this old canning shed. Let's see if I can get where and it's all set to compass. And now we can keep track of things. How about that? That looks pretty good up there. Well, if I can get the right angle on it. There it is. Standing guard, so we'll... these March winds, they really hadn't kicked in this year, but they'll probably be a week or two late. I imagine they'll get it spinning pretty good, pretty quick. North Carolina raining. Let's see, and there's Cheryl. I did not name the rooster. It's the saga of the no-name rooster. Just hadn't put any brain energy to it. We will. We'll name him soon enough. He don't know no different. He's just as happy without it. That way nobody can holler at him. I just come out here and say, "Hey, chicken." Look at him. He's hard to get used to things around here. All my pepper plants coming up, and tomatoes are taking another run, so it won't be long we'll be getting them set in the ground. Ramble long enough for a Monday. We'll be checking in on those baby leghorns in the morning. And y'all can check that out on the YouTube channel. My good buddy up in Ithaca, New York, Mr. Ben, affectionately named those his leghorns, because I got them right around his birthday. So, and I did find out he's 11 years old, but he acts like he's 15 or 16 in a good way. So I was corrected. But y'all can track that on the YouTube channel. That's where I'm doing that little chronicle. But all right, that's it. Y'all have a good evening. Be the light. Jordan's looking at me crazy. I think he saw me stepping on them white flowers out there, so I probably got a good talking to coming. I'll get through it. Don't you reckon? Y'all have a good evening. Be the light. We'll talk to you later.